Hi there, my name is Kay Moon, and I'm a twin flame channel and Western astrologer, and this is a video about the Gemini New Moon for 2020 happening on May 22nd, 2020 in Miami, Florida, or the eastern seaboard of the United States. Please use a time zone converter to find your local time. Very exciting new moon, friends. This is the Twin Flames new moon. Much awaited, much anticipated, much heralded, as it is the new moon that happens in the sign of the twins. There's one new moon and one full moon per sign per year. Typically, this year we get two in Cancer, but that's a whole other story. This particular new moon precedes the Divine Feminine's new moon that happened in May, in the first feminine sign of the zodiac, Taurus, and the Divine Masculine's new moon that happened in April, in the first masculine sign of the zodiac, Aries. The twins' new moon is an interesting one this year because rather than falling in the middle of a cycle, it is falling at the beginning of a new lunar cycle and a new series of eclipses. And that's evidenced by this nodal change as the nodes have now officially moved into the signs of Gemini, North Node, and Sagittarius, South Node. With this nodal shift, we're moving out of the cardinal axis of eclipses. That was Cancer and Capricorn, and we all had 2 years of that. Now we're going to move into roughly 2 years, 24 months of Gemini, Sagittarius. And during this time, it was revealed to me by the guides who supply me with information about what's happening in the twin collective, that this is preparatory time. Many twins will come into union at this time. If you're dealing with an ascension partner, it will be revealed to you at this time. In addition to coming to greater peace and greater love, greater compassion for yourself, and greater understanding about what your divine connection has been trying to show you all along at the stage of the journey that you are currently at in that divine connection. That being said, it's super exciting. This new moon happens right here at 2 degrees of Gemini, and you'll see here there is a stellium in the sign of Gemini, lighting up the mutable axes. And so mutable signs here are Sagittarius, Gemini, of course, Virgo, and Pisces. And this mutable energy is giving us the permission to better understand transformation and change. There, in every chart, not in every chart, I should say, but across the zodiac, there are 3 modes: cardinal, fixed, and mutable. And these modes are really important to understand, especially at a moment where we enter into a new cycle, because the mutable mode is the mode of transformation and change. When we look at the mutable signs, they are the signs that start with one energy and end in another energy. So, for example, the season of Gemini, if you happen to be in the northern hemisphere, it's going to be reverse if you live in the southern. But in the northern hemisphere, the mutable mode of Gemini begins our spring season and ends with being in summer season. Virgo begins as summer season and ends itself as it transitions into fall. Sagittarius is the mode that begins itself as fall season but ends fully anchored into winter. And Pisces for the northern hemisphere, you guessed it, winter ends itself in fall. This is really huge, and it's very emblematic of the twins' work on planet Earth in creating a new path of love and relationships. We start one way with one set of patterns and behaviors that we incarnated to overcome and transmute. We end on another side of the pendulum, a full transmutation from one start point to a different end point. And so it's just important to understand that, especially under this new moon, especially as we move into the Sag Gemini eclipse cycle that is beginning at this time. Because the way, if anyone knows how seasons work, and you all do, you live on planet Earth, the way change operates. So just think about seasons. We know that if we are in spring, we are headed to summer. This week may feel like summer, but guess what? Next week, we may take a full dip back into spring before going forward again to another week that feels like summer. This is important to understand because as you are witnessing change over this 18 to 24 month cycle with the new moon in Gemini, looks can be deceiving. Things may not look as they actually are, but you have to understand that we are moving from one way of being into another way of being, and this is the nature of change. A little bit forward, slight step back, a lot more forward, slight step back until we are fully anchored in the new energy. And it's important to not be alarmed by this, to not be uprooted by what's happening in the 3D world when you already know where things are headed, the season that is coming next. If we can't, how to put it, if every time we got upset that it snowed on its way to spring, and thought, oh no, this is the way it's supposed to be forever. It's now completely, it's ruined. We're going to be stuck in winter forever. That would be a complete falsehood, and we would be doing ourselves and Mother Nature a complete disservice by going into catastrophe just because things don't look the way they are actually, where they're actually headed. It is not a straight line. And that's one of the key lessons of the mutable seasons, is that they can bend and flex in alignment with the outcome so that things can get there in the way they are supposed to, not necessarily in the way that we demand they must. That's a real gift of the mutable signs, is that flexibility to roll with it and to have faith that the next season is definitely coming. So there's a real beauty in this with this full moon, because we've got the divine feminine, and we'll address her first in this video for a fuller understanding of the way this particular new moon works energetically. Please have a look at the general new moon video, because I talk more deeply about how this 2-year cycle is meant to assist us in that transformation. Normally a season's only 3 or 4 months, maybe 5 or 6 if you're in a tri-seasonal location on the earth. That being said, this particular season with the nodes being in Gemini is going to last us 24 months. And so it's important to understand what the energy is of this new moon, because it's going to anchor what things will be like over the next 18 to 24 months. And I explain all of that very thoroughly in the general video. For this video, I'm just going to focus in on what's going on for the asteroid that I read as Divine Feminine, Juno, and the planet I read as Divine Masculine, Jupiter. Juno is sitting here in trine to this new moon, which means a harmonious aspect to this new moon. She's sitting at the 5th degree of Libra. And there is more to that story with the trine, with Saturn here, Chariklo here, and Pallas here, sitting in the 1st degrees of Aquarius and the very final degree of Capricorn. This would be what we call as astrologers a grand trine. It tends to do 2 things. At its best, create harmonious and flowing energy, one planetary system to the next, because they're all in air signs. This is harmonious flow of energy in the realm of mind and communication. The challenge with grand trines is that they have a way of locking energy in. There's not a lot of motivation to change. There's a way in which this is a closed system, a closed circuit, and it would take an interruption in order to open the circuit back up, and an interruption being one of these planets shifting. With this closed circuit, we have the benefit of all of the wisdom that we've gained from the Juno retrograde with our feminine energies moving internally during the time of the Juno retrograde in the sign of partnership. This retrograde began on February 8th, which is where many divine feminines would have felt a shift in their connection. Either the connection got stronger, perhaps it moved off of the 3D and completely into 5D, perhaps it moved out of 5D, began to manifest more in 3D. Either way, there was a shift here with that Juno retrograde. Juno now at the 5th degree, it's going to get back, I believe, to degree 4. Let me just check my little notes here. And then she's going to turn direct. Once she goes direct, nope, she's at the final degree now, this 5th degree of Libra. Once she turns direct, it'll be all about integrating the lessons that got excavated for our consciousness during this February 8th through May 26th time. This particular excavation of lessons has left a lot, especially as we've gotten to this final degree here where she rests before turning direct, has pulled up a lot of things for many who have been in a stage of purging from February 8th that's just gotten more and more intense as we've gotten to the May 26th direct turn point. And I believe somebody even mentioned this in the comments on something on my channel. I didn't get the chance to respond, so I'm hoping you're watching this video. But the intensity of emotion has been about revealing false beliefs that appear real, fears. There also been about, this excavation has been about revealing to you where it is there's work to be done in terms of the way the thinking is not serving the deeper commitment you have to your personal evolution on planet Earth at this time. And that's this Saturn in Aquarius, Pallas, Chariklo lineup here. This Aquarian energy is all about the new, the next, the evolution. Aquarius is all about the technology and the revolution of what needs to be overthrown so that something new can come to be incarnate on the planet. With Saturn here moving retrograde, there is an internal focus on our discipline, on our structures, on the way we have been working on the mental level. There's a reflection and a review helping us understand what's no longer working, which belief systems don't serve us, which undermine us. And a willingness under this full moon, versus new moon, I should say, forgive me, to take that recognition and say, aha, this is where I need to work and this is how I need to operate in order to get things to flow again moving forward. It's an exciting time because once Juno gets out of shadow, and that'll be in the late summer, divine feminines, you're going to be feeling a completely new resurgence of your personal power, not only in your connection, but also in life. Your capacity to wield love as a, I wouldn't say as a weapon, because I'm not thinking in terms of weaponry, but to wield love as like a magician would a wand, and to change things in your life and in the lives of those around you simply by amplifying love wherever you go is going to be at a new all-time height. There was the height that it had been at before, but as a result of the work you're doing during this time, it is going to be amplified come the fall, and you are going to see a massive rebirth of your capacity to do your mission work on planet Earth fall into winter and into spring of 2021. Super exciting! And this is for all of our divine feminine energies. We're all getting that upgrade at this time. What we've also got going on here is yep, okay. Let's look at the divine masculine here. Here's Jupiter going through a nice little ego death. I say that facetiously. I know it's not nice. And that particular ego death is creating a transformation in the world of the 3D form. For those of you who haven't seen your divine masculine in a long time, I'm willing to place a pretty strong bet the next time you actually see him in the physical form, he's going to look radically different. For those of you who, are in union and you live with your divine masculine, or you see him on a regular basis, wait till we get to the end of this year and take a picture of him and then look at who he presented in the physical form last year, and you are going to see two completely different men. This shift in our masculine energies is causing a massive ego death about who we think we are, what we think we can create, what it is we want to try and create, and how it is we're going about creation. And it's stripping us down to understand the truth of who we are at our most divine, nothing else. This Jupiter-Pluto conjunction is going on 2 more times this year. One of them is coming up in September, another one in November, if I have this correct. And these conjunctions are allowing all of us to step into a pure expression of our masculine energies on planet Earth. One that comes with far less of some of the, how to put it, negative patterning around masculinity that has been existent on planet Earth prior to now. Even as a person who may be incarnate in a physical body that I can identify as female, even you too, me too, we all have it. Negative patterning around concepts related to masculinity that have to be shed. And it's this prelude to this eclipse cycle that almost overlaps with the beginning of this Sag Gemini eclipse cycle. Because remember, this eclipse cycle is about starting in one place, ending in a completely other place. It's transmutational. This energy of shedding all of our old ways of being in relationship to our masculine energies is supporting and facilitating our ability to hold more love, hold more light, be more incarnations, be better incarnations of what divine masculinity looks like in relationship and at work and in families on planet Earth. Because that's the cardinal axis. Relationships, cardinal sign Libra. At work, cardinal sign Capricorn. Families, cardinal sign Cancer. And with ourselves, cardinal sign Aries. This transmutational work is helping us to step into the light of divine love that we incarnated to be as twins. And that is a huge gift. There is an interesting energy here. There's a bit of an interesting energy here that I speak about in depth in the main video, where there's this little bit of a T-square between divine masculine, not that way, not Juno, creation goddess, divine masculine, and Eris, which is spite and righteous riot. She tends to let people know she's been disenfranchised in very clear terms when people stop listening to her. And there's a willingness to stand for self when no one else will stand with us, with the energy of Eris. She's squaring divine masculine energies here. And so she's imbuing divine masculine energies with this capacity to rally for self, to stand for self. And to do so in a way that allows the creation of a new beginning with creation goddess here in the arena of our relating. That being said, because this is a square, there's a lot of motivation here. There's a ton of tension here. And the way out of the feeling of being quite landlocked and out of choices is to move into the Cancer energy. Cancer's the sign that's conspicuous in its omission in this cardinal lineup. There is a necessity to give ourselves permission in our masculine energies to surrender to our emotions and really have a good look at where our masculine energies have been thwarted and repressed, and feel what we feel about that. And in feeling those emotions, we can find our way to truth. We can find our way to wisdom, because those emotions reveal what we believe, why we believe what we believe, and what's actually true when we give ourselves permission to surrender to them. And so at this moment in time, with this tension, and this tension is here all 2020 long for our divine masculine energies, we are being asked to dig more deeply into our emotional truths as a way of kicking off this transmutational cycle of the nodes in the sign of Gemini, so that we can leave behind patterns that don't serve and step fully into the next season of our lives with patterns that do. So, big times. I've spoken about this at length in other videos that I'm not presently offering twin flame readings, and why I'm not, but it has a lot to do with the reality that both divine masculine and divine feminine are working with two different energy sets at this time. Divine feminine's working with air energy and fire energy, Libra and Aries. Divine masculine's working with earth energy and water energy, Capricorn, Cancer. In so doing, the beautiful thing about this is that whether you're in union or whether you're separate in any capacity, and it's my belief that we are always in union once we've met our twin, in this capacity, every single element of the zodiac is covered. We've separated the workload. We, as divine feminines, are doing our part with earth and fire. We, as divine masculines, are doing our part, with air and fire. Divine masculines, we're doing our part with earth and water. And so it's important to understand that even though we're all working individually with our relationship to the divine, back to ourselves, that loop, it is supporting the collective template and collective consciousness around love by covering 100% of the elements in the template. And so it's important to give ourselves permission to, be where we're at and let that be enough, to not force the need for a coming together in a deeper way that's different than what is currently on the agenda. Even for twins who are in some sort of union or some fashion of union, I've noticed that there are projects and personal work that they're being called to focus on that has very little to do with their divine counterpart. And while their work may be supported in their 3D world by their counterpart, the work can't be done with or by the counterpart. The work has to be done that person directly in connection with the divine and then out to the world. That's the nature of this moment. And so it's a year of really deepening our connection to source and our own divinity for every single person. And it's a powerful opportunity to become even more divine love incarnate on earth. So it's really important to just honor that and to know that, the time will come when both divine masculine and divine feminine are kind of working side by side or in complementary energies. But this particular year, it's like we've spread out to place our arms and our hearts fully around the earth grid so that the earth has the opportunity to fully upgrade. And we've covered every inch of it, every corner of the possible energies through this lineup between Libra and Aries, air and fire, divine feminine, and Capricorn and Cancer, earth and water, divine masculine. Because once you're standing in one of those energies, it flows to all of the other energies that are the same element in the chart, which means divine feminine is completely imbuing not only Libra, but also Gemini and Aquarius with her love energy. And she's imbuing not only Aries, but also Leo and Sag with her love energy. And the same is true for divine masculine with earth and water signs. He's imbuing Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo with his transmutational love energy, as well as Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, no matter what sign he is. So it's if you can just imagine, all of us with hearts lit up with the work that we've been doing, creating a grid around the earth that's connecting in the etheric realm to imbue the earth with greater love. That's what's going on here. And it's such a wonderful way to work with the imagery of what this energy is like, and to remember that it's, even if you're in separation, it's not for nothing. And if you're in union and you're recognizing, okay, I need to work over here while you work on that, it's not because you've done anything wrong. It's all in alignment for the greater good. So I explain in detail, even more detail than what I just shared, why I'm not doing twin flame readings at this time. And it has a lot to do with this particular energy, how the twins are working in separate signs this year. And it's to really give people the opportunity and to hold space for those who really are ready to look at, okay, where's my work? Where's my wounding? Where's my healing? How can I deepen this? And to do that, hold the private session time available for people who want to do that work. The June calendar is about 95% of the way booked. There's a few more appointments left that last week of June. So if you want to jump in and have a conversation about and a deep dive into this work for yourself, now's a great time to grab one of those last June sessions. Just email me at chrysalismoon@gmail.com, KRYSALISMOON@gmail.com. You'll get an autoresponder that details how to book. Once you've made your payment, I will send you an invitation to the calendar that allows you to schedule at a time convenient for you. And for those of you who don't want to wait until the very end of June, or for example, if you know you have twin flame questions that would just help you to get answered now, I will be offering single question mini readings on Saturday, 5/23 at 1 o'clock Eastern. Please use a time zone converter to find your local time. And Saturday, 5:30 at 1 p.m. Eastern. Again, please use a time zone converter to find your local time. And that's where we can do like a singular question kind of check in on the energies. But for the most part, the year is really about grounding more deeply into our own energies, expanding our heart chakra capacity so that we can be a part of this global upliftment in the arena of love. So I thank you so much for liking, watching, subscribing, and sharing. And I look forward to seeing how all of this resonates in the comments below for you.